Hello, gorgeous souls. So happy to have you here at Aeipathy today. As you can see, I am going to be doing a deck review today of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck. Now, this deck is not yet available widespread, mass marketed. It is, however, on pre-order right now through Amazon. That link will be provided in the comment section below as a pinned comment for you if you're interested in purchasing and have not yet done so. Just know that at the time of recording this review, I acquired my copy, as you can see, at Barnes & Noble. It's an exclusive edition. I am not sure if they still are carrying it. It does include some additional content or items, I guess you'll say, that are not going to be in the other editions. Again, it's exclusive just to Barnes & Noble. That particular merchant had a special edition that came out, or an exclusive edition as it says, and the ones that are going to be at other distributors are going to be a little bit different. However, again, it is coming out in April, end of April, I believe, at Amazon, and you can definitely use that link that I'll be providing for you in order to purchase it, and hopefully you will be getting your decks shortly. If you are a fan of Alice in Wonderland, obviously even Lewis Carroll, of Disney in general, this is a wonderful, wonderful deck. One of my absolute favorites. I'm a huge fan of this movie. My son even loves this movie, and he doesn't like any Disney movies, so this is such a huge deal. But it is just incredible. This is the same deck creator as well who has done other Disney works. So she created the Disney Villains Tarot deck, the Nightmare Before Christmas. I believe there's also a Hocus Pocus version, I want to say. So this individual, this deck creator, has done an excellent job content-wise with really understanding the subject matter and creating these, again, Disney-inspired decks that are just outstanding. Really does justice to the body of work that is being represented in this tarot deck. Now, before we get started, I just want to get a couple of housekeeping things out of the way. So anything that you may need to know about the channel, about what I do here in this space, can pretty much be found in the description box below, which again is also going to contain some information related to the decks I use when I do pick a cards, links on how you can support the channel, including, as I said, the pinned comment, which will have this deck, the link to pre-order. All of these ways that you support me, even if you just choose to like, share, subscribe, share your thoughts with me in the comments, it enables the powers that be to, more widely make my content available to others. And my goal is, of course, to both support and reach the collective at the greatest, I guess, capacity I can. Right now, also, this channel is a hobby, and I have lots of life matters going on presently, so I haven't been able to devote as much time, but my hope is in the future, and with your help, getting the word out and being able to get my content more widely spread, more mainstreamed, that eventually I can continue to grow this channel into something even more than what it is now. So your presence here today, even just for this deck review, means the world to me. I do also, as you can probably tell if you look through my channel, I have multiple playlists with lots of different content for you, pick a card readings, zodiac readings, all sorts of things. So I invite you to stick around if you're enjoying what you see today. I do these deck reviews as I get new decks in, or just decks that I have gotten recently that I want to share. I never am receiving any kind of compensation for these reviews. These are strictly just my opinion, what I love, what I want to share with others, what I think is great out there that I would like you to know about if you happen to be a reader or a collector. So it's all just my own desire to share the information, share my collection with others. I do purchase a lot on independent websites from independent creators, a lot of indie decks, Kickstarter decks, things along those lines. So I like to share all of those as well. This happens to be, again, mass marketed, but it is incredible, and I am so excited. I can't wait to get going with this. So yes, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you'll notice is obviously the stylization of this particular deck isn't exactly 100% true to the imagery of the Disney version. Quite honestly, I would have preferred if it had been an exact, I don't know if you would say replica, or if it just looked 100%, like the depiction of the Disney, Walt Disney animated classic. I don't know if for copywriting purposes that had to be altered a bit, but as you can see, and I'll bring it close, the imagery and the design is just a little bit more, it's a little different, a little eclectic, but still very true to form. I mean, you can obviously see that this is Alice, this is the Queen, this is the Mad Hatter, the card players, the White Rabbit, the Cheshire Cat. So everybody is still in true to form. You can tell every character who they are. Very, very well done. This is going to be a satiny, sort of a matte finish to the box, very high quality. And if you're not familiar, Alice in Wonderland was created during Victorian times. So there's going to be a lot of Victorian-esque elements that are present throughout the design of the deck and packaging. So to begin, you have this like gold sort of scrolling that goes and runs all the way around the edging of the box. A critique that I have here, just to my OCD eye, as I call it, this is not even. And I did look at the other copies. There was just very, very few at the store, but the other copies look the same. So I don't know if that's just a manufacturer's thing. You'll have to let me know if you get this deck and you, when you see the cover, let me know how it looks, but I don't like that that's off center. At any rate, everything else is really, really well done with this. So the first thing that you'll notice is there, hopefully I can get that in the camera. Yeah, right there. So there's like this little diamond patterning, and you'll see it's kind of peeking out at the bottom here. The bottom of the box is got like it has a striping to it, almost like wallpaper. It gives me the impression of like a Victorian wallpaper. So I just thought that that was beautiful too. Again, really, really did this deck justice, for subject matter. It's very, very true to what it's representing. I'll give you an example. So when I bought the Golden Girls Tarot, which is, I love the Golden Girls, so many people do. I was so disappointed with how they did that deck. It was almost like the creators didn't even watch the show and weren't really familiar with the characters, and that just bugged me. So I can say that at least with this deck creator, as far as I know, I don't own her other decks yet. I'm planning on the Disney Villains deck, and I'll probably do a review for that. But in terms of at least this one, this is like a super fan, like somebody who definitely knows the movie inside and out, understands the references, understands the significance of the characters and of the sequencing of the movie, and just really, again, did a great job with the card choices, the imagery, somebody who just really is very in touch with the material. So you can see here as well, there's a little bit of like a glossy embossing, there we go, of some scroll work at the top. It's also at the bottom, and that's situated on either side, but they are different colors as I'm noticing now. So on this side, it's more of a reddish color. On this other side, it's blue. So I think that just also represents the idea of how there's Wonderland and then there's the real world. And you'll see a couple of other elements of that represented as I go through the packaging. So in opening up this box, again, we've got this like beautiful Victorian-esque wallpaper style interior to the box. You've got some of the more well-known symbols here. We've got the teapot, of course, the pocket watch, the rose, the mushroom, just very interesting, very significant elements and symbols to the film that they have decided to place into a pattern here that, I just think is so adorable for that box. Kind of peeking at the bottom of the box to give you the example. First of all, the outside is that same, again, striped kind of wallpaper, Victorian sort of a patterning. The back looks really nice. It has a couple image previews. Those are glossy, almost has like a sticker feel. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, there's a little bit of a shininess there, but like so well done. However, so when she falls down the rabbit hole and she's going upside down, that's basically the representation I got, the reference I got when I saw this. So the top of the box, everything is upright. All of the imagery is upright. The bottom of the box, everything is upside down. And that's intentional because, again, you can see that this is all how the writing and the images are supposed to look. But the inside, this is not an error or defect. That's how it's supposed to be. So I just thought that that was cute. You know, it's a kind of a nice little touch that they could do to just make this again more relevant and significant to the plot line, the storyline of the movie. This is why I decided to get this Barnes & Noble copy. Not only because I wanted the deck sooner, and I bought this in, oh man, early February. So I've had it for some time now. It came out, that's very rare actually. Normally a pre-order is going to be maybe, they sometimes offer pre-orders or like limited run, like a month or so before the deck is released. Also, just know too, if you are ever watching a deck review and somebody has a deck that they're reviewing, which has happened to me, that you do not have access yet to in your country, just know that for these big, publications, the distribution of, by country, it varies. So you'll often see sometimes that the US gets deck releases that are a little bit either earlier or later than, say, like most of Europe or the UK. Sometimes Australia is thrown in there. But that's kind of what I've noticed, is that those are kind of the big three, is like the UK, Australia, and the US are going to, sometimes Canada, are going to have different dates sometimes that overlap. So again, if you ever see a deck that somebody is working with and you're like, how in the world did they acquire that? If it's not a situation like this where I was able to get the deck, like basically 3 months in advance, 3 months in advance, then what it is most likely just that person, unless they have like a, some type of a relationship with the creator that they received an advanced copy, then more than likely what it is they just live in another country where they could have it sooner. But so I bought the Barnes & Noble version because not only did I want the deck sooner, but it included this beautiful bag. And like, come on, I had to. This is gorgeous. On camera, this is reading even like a little bit of a deeper blue. All of this is, which is still gorgeous. But in person, it's a slightly, like probably one shade more into the teal family. So it's a little bit lighter, but it's just stunning. This is a velvet bag. Obviously, it's embossed Disney Alice in Wonderland. It's got the little symbol of her falling. Just so high quality, and I just loved it. And I'm like, I have to have that. So I probably will purchase an Amazon copy just as a backup. And I'm interested to see, if that has anything special added to it. I'm not sure if it does. I don't think it does, but just know, if you do get, a version that's not from Barnes & Noble, if you purchase this deck through Amazon, again, through the link I provide below, or, at another merchant site, it will not contain this bag. So we always start with the guidebook. Let's do the guidebook this time as well. We have a nice, it's a soft cover, but it looks and reads just like a little storybook. Again, it's got those nice, beautiful little Victorian touches. Very, it's just cute. I love Victorian anything. And so the fact that this just kept in tune with that, I love it. When we open things up, it's very well organized. You have the table of contents, of course, introduction, understanding the tarot deck, and the major arcana. You have the minor arcana as well, tarot readings, caring for your deck, preparing to read tarot spreads. This deck creator has done a fantastic job of helping you if you are a beginner. Now, I wouldn't advise necessarily this being your first deck. If you've never touched tarot before, I would get familiar first with the Rider-Waite-Smith system. That's like that standard yellow box, yellow package deck that has the Magician on the cover. Begin there. And I say that as a person who's only been reading tarot for about 3 or 4 years. But at any rate, I was so lost on where do I begin. And I just think everybody should really start with that traditional standard deck and then branch out from there. But if you have any kind of a basic understanding, but not a whole lot, and you still want to own this deck, don't be intimidated, because there's lots of information, really good material by the deck creator on, how to read it. So I think that that's incredible. Let me just, what I'm doing is sometimes I'm sitting, sometimes I'm standing. So I want to make sure that you guys can see everything. So yeah, we get through all of the major arcana cards. A couple names have been changed, but they make total sense. And we're going to go over every single card for this deck because, again, they're just so well done. I won't spend too much time with each card because, in the interest of time. However, we are going to go over, you know, the cards themselves. For the minor arcana, the suits mostly make sense. So the suit of flowers is going to be the suit of wands. And I think that the creator chose that because, as you recall, if you've seen the movie, the flowers are very, they're not the nicest bunch after they realize that Alice, or they believe that Alice is a weed. You know, they're really feisty and fiery and kind of like, you know, combative and argumentative with her and kind of, I mean, well, I guess they weren't kind of, they were totally like aggressive and just, you know, they were very fiery. They were wands energy. So that makes sense. The suit of hedgehogs is probably the one that I don't understand all that much. But if you remember the scene with the queen and she's doing the croquet and they use the hedgehogs that are balled up that look like little balls in the different colors, that's what they're saying is the suit of pentacles or these hedgehogs. You know, maybe they just needed something round and that worked. That's probably the only one that's maybe a little oddly placed. The suit of spears is obviously going to be the spears that the card players held to represent swords. And the suit of teacups, very apt. This is an English or British history story with British culture. So they're very big on tea. Teacups, you know, that's present heavily throughout the story as well, the movie and the story that it originates from. So that just made perfect sense. I think as we get in here, you know, yeah, they talk a little bit about some of the, you know, inspiration for the deck. Yeah, see, the Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck is full of familiar faces, themes, and iconic moments from the film. I love that. Understanding your deck. So, you know, again, very good introductions. These are all of the suit pictures. So yeah, those hedgehogs are circular. I think that's why they chose them. We have the major arcana. So for each card, you're going to get the description, the upright meaning, and the reversed meaning or upside down for those that may not be aware. So you can read tarot a lot of different ways. Obviously, intuitively, you can also and should have an understanding of the basic meanings of the cards. I love that they describe them, of course, and provide both upright and reversed meanings, which you don't have to take. I don't often read reversals, but again, especially if you're learning or if you're relatively newer to tarot, I just love that they include so much depth of information. The cover card image, we've got the Magician. Card 2, the Mystery, which is the High Priestess, and I love that because this little Cheshire cat is so mysterious. It's not a very approachable character, like a little bit sneaky almost, just, you know, I just think it was very apt, you know, to be the High Priestess card too. So I love that. The Queen, the Empress, you know, and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and get into the minor arcana and you'll see the same thing. So it starts actually with the Kings and goes down. It does all of the court cards first and then begins with the numbered cards, upright and reversed meanings for each of those. So as you can see, it started with the King, the Queen, the Knight, and the Page, I believe. Yes, so it kind of went backwards and then begins with the Ace after that. It's a little bit of a different order, but I've seen other decks do it, deck creators, so not the biggest deal in the world. The ordering is a little strange. You know, they go from wands to hedgehogs, which are pentacles. And then after that, they do swords and then teacups or cups last, which I wouldn't be a fan of that order, but, you know, their deck, their choice. Caring for your deck. I love that they include some material on, you know, how you can connect with your deck, how to read it, how to care for it. Again, this is a very good supplemental book. I mean, very like thick, you know, easy to read, a lot of material, a lot of information, very good content, especially if you're newer. Preparing to read the tarot. Tarot spread options, the doorknob's key, I love that. And follow the white rabbit, the Cheshire Cat's conundrum. And then we just have some information about the author and artist. Really, really well done guidebook. Lots of information, lots of material in there. Really, really just thorough, I guess would be the best way to say it. Very detailed, very thorough. If you read this front to back, you will absolutely understand this deck incredibly well. Even if you haven't watched the movie, that's what I feel. Now getting into the card deck itself, again, I said we're going to go over each card just because they're so well done. There's really a lot of symbolism in all of the choices that this creator has made for the deck for the card designation. So we're going to go over each one in the deck, just a brief overview. I want to make sure that you can see these well. Card backs, first of all, are not truly reversible. You do have a mirror image sort of, but as you see here, you have different emblems on either four corners of this kind of star pattern centered. So you have just a regular teapot up top, you have teacups down below, a heart to the left, and then a rose to the right. So if you were to use these reversed, well, I don't know if you would. I don't, again, read with reversals much, but just know that these are a very plain design. I'm actually probably, out of the whole packaging aesthetic of the deck, least happy with the back, just the color choice. I think the dark blue is a little too dark. It doesn't exactly match the rest of the packaging. I don't know where this yellow kind of came from, so I'm not a huge fan of that. It's not the worst, but at any rate, so the card backs leave some to be desired, and they are not truly reversible backs, if that matters to you. So yes, I think this should be good. So I put these in order, but I put them in order, and we're going to start here with the Fool. So the Fool is obviously Alice because she's young, she's naive. The Fool is obviously symbolic of innocence, of naivety, of exploration, of starting anew, starting a journey. And that's, of course, what she does because she, enters Wonderland. The Magician is the Mad Hatter. And I like that because the Mad Hatter is obviously somebody who's mad. And in Victorian times, to be mad didn't mean angry. It meant to be kind of like off your rocker, like mentally ill. And the Magician itself is very like chaotic, kind of. It has this appeal to me of obviously illusion, but there's just a lot of goings on. I love that this person's wearing a hat. This Mad Hatter's wearing a hat, obviously, and the Magician obviously often has a hat as well as part of their attire. Just the vibe, the general energy of a magician, especially one that's maybe a little bit seedier, a little bit deceptive, very much gives me the same sort of an energy as this Mad Hatter. The Mystery, card 2, which they have changed from the High Priestess, depicts the Cheshire Cat. Again, I kind of gave some reference to that when we were looking in the guidebook. I think that just makes perfect sense. The Cheshire Cat's a little shifty, a little bit mysterious, a bit of a mystic. It's not a very well-known or understood character. In fact, as you recall too, in the movie, when she's speaking to the Cheshire Cat, it just begins to disappear. It's like the stripes on its coat begin to disappear, and then the smile, and I think last is the eyes. And so it's just kind of got like this very, secretive, mysterious sort of energy about it, which can definitely relate back to the High Priestess. So I think that was well done. The Empress being the queen, the emperor being the king, those are pretty self-explanatory, obviously being counterparts. The Hierophant being Alice's sister. I don't know if she ever had a name, but the Hierophant is symbolic of higher learning, obviously, somebody who's wise, who also represents the idea of structure and could be like organizations or institutions, just, somebody who's very rigid. I would say that definitely represents Alice's sister. She's wanting her to just sit there to focus on her history lesson. So she's relaying some form of education, which also can be represented by the Hierophant, again, higher learning, and just being very, very knowledgeable and reading her book. That made good sense. They have changed the card, the Lovers, in this deck to read as the pair, and it depicts obviously the two twins, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. In my opinion, this hasn't actually affected the reading. I still obviously have seen in my readings when I've pulled this card, it still is representative of, can be, love energy. But because they've added this extra element of making this a platonic couple or pair, as it says, this can also represent lots of other things. And it does take, it's hard to describe. It takes a little bit away, I guess, from the romantic heavy energy of romance and of love, specifically romantic love, that the Lovers often depicts and represents. It makes this just more about counterparts. Those can be any, sort of pair or match. Soulmates can be, of course, platonic and non-romantic. So I guess to that point, maybe that's apt to do that. But it makes sense, the Lovers, again, being a pair, as it says, being two together. I think that was a good way to include those characters, and they're significant, so that's important to have them. The Chariot in this deck is Alice when she is in that bottle and she's in the sea, obviously, of well, she begins, I believe, with that bird. Is he a stork or something? But anyway, that bird that's keeping himself dry while all of these other people, animals are running around in a circle and they keep getting wet. And then she ends up in the bottle, and then, that whole thing, she gets transported. And as you know, it carries her to that room that eventually, I believe, takes her through the doorknob, and that gets things going for her to enter Wonderland. So with the chariot being symbolic of, movement, of forward progression, a journey, again, I think that makes really good sense. The strength card is just depicting one of the flowers, which is obviously going to be Wands energy, according to this deck creator. So already a lot of fire, a lot of drive, a lot of resilience. And then it actually depicts the flower that they had with a lion face. This is actually in the movie itself. And with strength being represented by Leo energy, and also being depicted with a woman and a lion or beast in the traditional imagery, I think that was a good choice as well. The hermit being the sleepy mouse, someone who likes to be alone, who's, lost in their own thoughts, or, sleeping. Makes sense. He does that at the tea party. He just goes to sleep amidst all this chaos. It's just so funny. The Wheel of Fortune, this is the scene I was referring to. So this little stork, or whoever that is, who is just having all of these animals run around in circles. And of course, the Wheel of Fortune represents cycles, and it's the wheel. So it's the turning or the spinning and the shifting. And that's exactly what those characters were doing. So that's more of a literal translation, or depiction, I should say. But again, makes good sense. Justice represented by, he's also the emperor, but that's the king. And that's the point at which he acts as judge for Alice when she's on trial, obviously with the justice, the legal sort of component to that. That's a good choice also. The Hanged Man, they have made suspension in this deck. So you think of the Hanged Man as someone who is suspended, who's self-suspending and sort of restricting themselves, and who's upside down. And so they show this in this deck, the point at which Alice is upside down because she falls down the rabbit hole, and then she's making her way into Wonderland. So I thought that was really good. And for changing up the few major arcana cards that they have, which I'm not usually a fan of, creators doing, I think that they've done so in a very tasteful and sensical way. Transformation is death in this deck, and it's represented by obviously the caterpillar who turns into a butterfly. So I think that just, again, very apt. Temperance in this deck, the name isn't changed, but this is a very non-traditional imagery, and it obviously shows that box that has all of those eat me, whatever those were, and then this bottle, which obviously says drink me. If you recall, it was on that table in that room with the doorknob, and those to me just represent the idea of balance. So temperance is about alchemizing, obviously bringing things together, and balance. So making things right, doing something, adding some component, and alchemizing it, bringing it together. We've also got the day and night. So those stark transitions in this card represented as well. And I just think it represents, especially with regard to this film, how she, would eat something, and I think it would make her smaller. Well, she had, in several points in the movie, there was the eat me and drink me in that room. And then later they also had there was parts of a flower or something to that effect, where she took one side, and if she ate that, it made her bigger. The other side made her smaller. She had to lick it at one point to get the right height, because it kept, being all crazy. So just the idea of, again, alchemizing and all of these different substances that she was able to ingest, to take in, and it altered her experience, specifically physically, her height at some points as well, her size. The devil in this deck is temptation, and of course they chose a very seedy character, someone very untrustworthy. The walrus, if you remember the story of the walrus and the carpenter within the Alice in Wonderland tale, this guy, of course, manipulates all of those oysters, brings them into that made-up restaurant that the carpenter creates. He ends up eating all of them before his partner, who is the carpenter, even comes back. So again, just this idea of a very disingenuous, seedy, deceptive character, someone not very likable. I think they chose perfectly for that. I actually could have even seen the queen being the devil for this deck, but I think, with the queen already being represented in other cards, this was a good choice to include this character. The tower, this is a good one as well. The tower representing destruction, in some cases, physical dwellings or physical structures coming down. And this is the point at which Alice is inside of that house, and then she outgrows the house and obviously ruins the rabbit's house because she's so big that furniture gets pushed over, things get broken. So I just think that that was kind of a unique way that the creator could take different scenes from the movie and apply them so expertly to the traditional tarot meanings. If you hadn't watched the movie or weren't, like a fan or someone who just understood the movie very well and knew it inside and out, all of the different scenes and the symbolism, and then again, able to relate that and translate it back to tarot, I don't think this deck would have been nearly as well done as it was. But this person obviously just understood the assignment. She did a really, really wonderful job in, depicting everything and choosing great images to represent the meanings, especially for the major arcana. Again, that's always tricky to go ahead and be moving, making changes and shifting and adjusting your major arcana for your deck. You usually want to stay pretty true to form. A lot of people change suit names, so the pips or the minor arcana. But most of the time, people pretty much leave the major arcana alone, and they have changed several cards and also done non-traditional imagery for some of them as well. Not some of them, most of them. But they've done so expertly. They've done a great job. The star here is represented by a rose. White rose, I've heard, is the rose of hope, perhaps. So maybe that's why that was chosen. I don't think any of the flowers were very friendly, but maybe if my memory recalls, the white rose was one of the nicer ones. I'm not exactly sure, but again, she stood out, obviously being white. And the star is just representative of pure optimism and positive energy as well. So I think that was nice too. The moon is showing a scene between the Cheshire Cat and Alice. Again, there's just this element of mystery to the Cheshire Cat, and the cat is unclear. I think this is the point at which Alice is saying, like, I don't know which way to go. I'm confused. What do I do? And the Cheshire Cat is like, it was about being lost. And the Cheshire Cat responds, well, if you don't know where you're going and you have nowhere to go, then how can you be lost? And so I just think it's like a perfect representation with the moon energy and how that can represent illusions and things being hidden or not revealed, and confusion and muddled energies and being lost, being stuck in the dark. This scene, if you don't know the movie, this would be like, okay, where's this? There's not even a moon depicted hardly. It's very at the bottom. It's a little tiny crescent. How does that accurately represent this energy in the major arcana of the moon, knowing what we know what it is? And again, so that's why it's important to be familiar with the story. Hopefully you enjoy the story and the film, and so you can look at that scene and you can tie that all back together as I've just explained for you and understand exactly what they're trying to portray here. I think, again, they've done it very, very well. The sun here, obviously represented by happiness, optimism, joyousness, good times, also children. So of course, Alice is a child. I think that's befitting. And this is at the point where she's, doing well, where she's actually having one of the happier moments throughout the film, where she's at that tea party in the very beginning, and, they're telling her, oh, it's your own birthday too. And, they're having this like joyous party, this tea party. So she's obviously having fun and she's very happy, and the sun is representative of that. Judgment is the rabbit who has his little trumpet there when he's at court. He's a little court, I almost said court jester. I'm not exactly sure what he is, but he gets to court, he announces the trumpet. Judgment's about announcements, awareness, awakenings, revelations. And so I just thought, that was a perfect marriage there of him already being kind of in that role, and actually doing this scene in the movie, and then them just kind of taking that and putting that for Judgment. That was great. The World being a card of endings, final endings and completion, usually happy endings as well. For Alice to be depicted here sleeping, which is not really a prominent scene in the movie, but obviously if you've seen the movie, you know that Alice wakes up and then she realizes, because at the end she's being chased and it's, no good. At the end, she wakes up and realizes it was all a dream. She's safe, she's content, everything's, as it needs to be and right with the world. So I think that's a really great way to kind of end out the major arcana, to, close off, cap off, and symbolize the world energy, which is about big completion. And again, those happy endings and cycles. Yeah, the end kind of a thing. So major arcana, I give absolutely, if I had to rate it, I guess like a 10 out of 10. It's really, really great. They did a superlative job. Really perfect. Just again, interpretation of how they chose to pick the images that they did, pick, you know, the tiebacks to the major arcana representations. Because there's so much change, because the imagery is so non-traditional, they've changed some of the names. You, again, if you're going to be risky and do something like that, you have to execute and do it well. And I would say they definitely did do that. Moving and transitioning into the minor arcana, I just want to see, is this in shot? Can you guys see that? I apologize if this is going to wobble for just a moment. There we go. Whoop. Okay, yep, you can see it. You can see it, but I like to be able to see it as well with my mechanism to make sure you guys are getting the best view. So moving on to the minor arcana, as you can see, it's a pip deck. What does that mean? It means that all of the suits are going to have just pretty standard images depicting the symbol, you know, the, what do you call it? Whatever it happens to be, whatever element we're in, just showing the number of that element. So it's not really a unique image for each one, but we're going to go through them anyway, again, pretty quickly. This is the 1, or Ace of Flowers, which is the Ace of Wands. We have the 2 here, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's some images now for the quartz. We have the Page of Flowers, the Knight, the Queen. Yeah, there she is, that fiery. She's a little bee. And the King. So I put these into the order that I wanted them to be in for the sake of this video, which is traditional. But again, that book, so how they actually came in the deck when I first opened it was like this. So King first, Queen second, Knight third, Page fourth, and then it began the Aces. And I just, you know, that's a little bit of an interesting choice of ordering. And especially, again, as I said too, they go from Wands, which is the quickest in terms of timing and energy, to Hedgehogs, which in this deck is Pentacles, which is the slowest element. So it's kind of interesting, but here we are. Ace of Hedgehogs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Page. Remember, that's when they were building things. The Knight is that little, was he a lizard? The Queen of Pentacles, very apt here. That was the bird that was sitting on her eggs. The Queen of Pentacles, of course, is somebody who's very stable. She's the wife. She's the little homemaker or the mother. Very nurturing. So that made perfect sense. And then the King of Hedgehogs, again, there's a lot of an earthly element to Pentacles energy. And so when we even see in the Page of Hedgehogs here, all of this depictions of building, and that's also echoed in the King of Pentacles or King of Hedgehogs card with that carpenter who built that restaurant. So that looks great. They move into Swords or Spears next, which again, I don't ever like when Spears or Swords comes before Cups. That to me is not how you do it, but it's still a great deck. It's a couple of little oddities there, and that's fine. It's an odd film. Again, well done though. So Ace of Spears, the 2, the 3. You are also picking up a lot of yellow in those clouds. That is not just my deck. That is how the deck actually comes. We have a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The Page is going to be kind of like the Queen's little henchmen, those card players. The Knight of Spears, I'm not exactly sure what this is, where this character is from. That's not a character I believe in the Disney version. So I don't know if that was an addition. This looks like this could almost be from like Tim Burton. Didn't he do a kind of a rendition of Alice in Wonderland? I don't know. Not a huge fan of that card. The Queen of Spears, the point at which Alice gets very big for a moment and she tells off the Queen. You know, she has that very sharp cutting kind of critical energy to her. It's a power moment for Alice. Of course, we know what happens after that, but at any rate. And the King of Spears. This is Mad Hatter and the Hare. So this is the hare. You know, he gets very angry. The Mad Hatter was happy, but he was just nuts. The hare was actually the one that was, you know, a King of Swords, you know, very, very angry, sharp cutting character as well in his own right. Last but not least is my favorite suit in any deck, and in this one as well. It is the Teacups or Cups. We have the Ace of Cups, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Page of Teacups is Dinah. Animals are such pure love. You know, the page being Dinah, I think that's perfect. The Knight of Teacups being this umbrella guy. Cups relating back to, obviously, emotional energy, water. That kind of sort of resonates, I guess. The Queen of Teacups being the ultimate mother and the nurturer, and a very emotionally supportive, caring presence, caring character. The Queen of Cups being this, the clam mother is, I think, perfect. And of course, we know what happens to the clam babies, and she was so protective of them, and, you know, just totally Queen of Cups energy there. And last but not least, King of Cups, which was the doorknob. That one's a little interesting as well. He didn't strike me as being incredibly emotional, but, you know, who knows? In terms of the card quality, this deck I've used minimally, but, you know, enough that if there was going to be any major dings or defects, there we go, camera focusing beautifully. You would see that by now. These have barely nicked or anything. They look really, really good. Yep. All edges. This is a couple months of use. You see there's very minor. These are a nice, they're very thin. You'll hear people talk about with the reviews that they're very thin, and they are, and I'll show you. So cards themselves bend quite easily. However, they're not paper thin. They are a nice weight to them. Let me see if you can kind of get a feel for that by the sound. And the cards themselves are a nice, almost like a laminated, very matte feel, a little bit slippery, but very soft to the touch, very, again, matte, and like a laminated kind of, that's the only way I can describe it, is a very laminated feel to the card deck. So that was the walkthrough of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot. As with all of my deck reviews, I always like to go ahead and kind of do a separate segment of the video wherein I decide to do a mini pick a card. So pick a card readings are my basis. I love to, of course, use all of the decks that I eventually review on the channel in full pick a card readings, but just for, again, the idea to give you a feel for how the deck reads. And if you just enjoy watching the video, it's sort of a nice little ending, again, to just go ahead and lay out the cards, do a mini pick a card, and see what message the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot has for you. So if you feel guided to and are wanting to stick around, I'm going to go ahead and clear the table quickly, set up 3 piles for you that you can choose from. And it just is going to give you a general message from Spirit using this tarot deck. Again, a message specifically for you, depending on the pile you choose, just for you to get an idea, feel for how the deck reads, get a message at the end of this video here today. Again, a thank you for joining me here for this review. So if that is of interest to you, stick around. I'll be back with that in just a moment. All right, so as you can see, I have the 3 piles set up for you now. Go ahead and choose either by crystal, whichever crystal is calling to you most, whichever timestamp perhaps is drawing you in most, whatever way you like to choose your pile is individualized. Go ahead and just select, again, whatever is drawing you in, whatever your intuition says is the pile for you. We have for you, pile 1 is going to be a brand new crystal that I received, is a lemon calcite palm. Pile 2 is my caramel crystal. I just call it my caramel crystal. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's got that beautiful little milky caramely stripe in it. So right now I'm calling it the caramel crystal. Pile 3 is going to be rose quartz palm. Go ahead, again, select your pile. I'll meet you at your choice in just a moment for your mini message, mini pick a card from the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot. Hi, pile one. You chose, I'm so excited I can't even speak. You chose this beautiful blue and yellow scene today. This is one of my newest crystals. I just got it this weekend at an expo. It is lemon calcite and it's huge. It's beautiful. This is your mini pick a card reading, courtesy, of course, of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck. Let's go ahead and see what cards were chosen for you today. Number one, we have the Six of Hedgehogs. This is the Six of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Flowers, which is the Eight of Wands, and we have Judgment. Already there's something really impactful and significant requiring your attention. We have this Judgment card coming out for you, which is again all about revelations, awareness, news possibly coming in. It's definitely something coming to light for you, an announcement of some sort. Perhaps there's some type of news you've been waiting on or some type of recent clarity that you've come into. But at any rate, it looks like this is, if it hasn't already, it's going to come in very quickly with this Eight of Wands energy here presenting central to the spread. This is about either a quick event or just swiftness, fast movement, momentum, things coming forward in rapid succession. And we also have the Six of Hedgehogs or Six of Pentacles, which can also be offers and news and equal reciprocity, energy exchange. This is honestly striking for me, just with everything presenting here, and especially with this Pentacles card. I really think for some of you, pile one, you're waiting on a job offer or some type of news related to something monetary or something related to your finances, your material stability, your real world, like concrete, like, something related to a house or a job. There's just something coming in swiftly, some type of news you're going to be receiving. I'm getting it's going to be positive. And we also have this yellow, lemon calcite stone, which of course, we think of yellow as like the sun, radiant, happy, optimistic energy. Nothing here is striking me as anything negative. Again, the Six of Pentacles is also a card of offers, of exchanges, of, receiving, giving and receiving. But again, it looks like you're on the receiving end of this here. Eight of Wands, that's something quick. That's something, usually pretty exciting. Wands energy is all about passion and drive and magnetism and motivation. We have 8 of those here. So times that like fiery, passionate, just beautiful, inspirational energy, times that by 8. It's magnified that many times. It's just going to be something that again comes possibly very sudden, very quick, that you I think have been waiting on, anticipating, and it's going to come in and it's going to completely change your world. Again, that was the first thing I saw when I laid that Judgment card, is that there's something you're waiting on that's really going to change things up for you when you get it. If for some reason you're not expecting any kind of an offer, this could relate to a person. Perhaps there's somebody in your past, somebody that you are hoping to reconnect with. It does not have to be romantic. This can be anyone, a friend, a relative, a child even. I'm getting for some of you, like a parent-child, and there's been a disconnect perhaps. Or if somebody's overseas, there's also a message coming through. If somebody's overseas, it would be a Middle Eastern area. I normally don't, for these pick a cards, I don't get so specific, but for some reason, a Middle Eastern area or Germany, it's one of those two. If you have somebody who's overseas, who you haven't been able to reach, or, it's limited contact, also 8 of Wands can represent messages and communication. So if you haven't seen them either for a while, or you haven't gotten any communication, any word from them, maybe you're sending them things over in the mail. If this is any sort of long distance situation, again, the Six of Pentacles can also relate to, again, this idea of giving. This is now about you receiving back in what you've given out and something quickly coming in for you. So hearing that word from that person, receiving that phone call or that letter, or having that surprise visit. Again, I think whatever happens, this element represented by the Judgment card here for you, in whatever circumstances applies to your situation, I do think it's positive and happy and definitely something to look forward to. So pile one, I so hope you've enjoyed this mini pick a card reading courtesy of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck. I also hope that you've enjoyed this content in whole today. This deck review, which I like to do these as frequently as possible in addition to full pick a card readings. So similar to what I did here, only a full length reading on a variety of topics related to love, healing, high vibrational living, all sorts of wonderful things, even zodiac readings. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel and the available content. Also, please consider subscribing if you haven't. Like, share, comment, engage with my channel. It does help me, out there in the YouTube world to become more widespread out to the collective, and it means the world to me, your support in doing so. And also, again, I am not being compensated for this review in any way, shape, or form, but if you are interested in purchasing the Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck, I will have an affiliate link, which is linked to Amazon down below in a pinned comment that you can use. It costs nothing additional to you if you're planning to purchase the deck anyway. It's just a simple, free way to show your support by utilizing the link I provide for you for ease in ordering. Until next time, Pile 1, I do hope to see you again for a future video. I hope you take great care of yourself. Bye-bye. Pile 2. You guys chose my beautiful caramel crystal today. This gorgeous beauty. I love it so much. I have no idea what it actually is, but it is just stunning and gorgeous, and I use it often, and I love it every time. This is your mini message and mini pick a card courtesy of the Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck. We already just did Pile 1, obviously. That went amazingly well. This deck reads so awesome. I haven't even had a chance to say that. I didn't say that in the deck review, but this deck has been one of the clearest, most accurate, just all around great decks I have worked with personally and on camera. So I really, really enjoy it, and I'm excited to see what cards we've pulled for you all today for your message. So let's take a look. First and foremost, we have for you the Five of Pentacles, or Five of Hedgehogs. We also have card 2, the mystery in this deck, which is the High Priestess. And we have Strength. Definitely a different energy than Pile 1. Pile 2. I definitely think this is apt, this mystery card. I do think you're in a time of either confusion or things being unknown to you. There's a lot that's at play right now in your life, and I can relate to this also. So I understand and empathize with this energy. It can be maddening, especially if you're somebody like myself who likes stability, who likes structure, who needs to know what's going on. It's not controlling, but it's just about having that balance, having that, sense of stability and, security, I guess, is what it would be. That's lacking a bit in your life right now, I feel. Five of Pentacles is a very low energy. This is someone who's feeling a complete sense of lack or loss, almost hopelessness. You could have suffered some actual loss, whether this be job related, a relationship, maybe someone passed away, whatever the case may be. I'm envisioning someone who's just still setting out on the journey. They're still walking ahead forward. They're taking the path ahead, but they're so confused. They're so unsure of really which way to go, what they're supposed to be doing, what decisions they need to be making. And that's what's represented in this card, the High Priestess, or mystery in this deck. The message here for you, of course, and it's quite obvious with this Strength card presenting. Number 8 is all about cycles. It's about infinity. It's never ending. So think of a number 8 and, infinity symbol, how that goes. It's never ending. It just continues on. And even as we, continue to repeat cycles and we think that we're, maybe stuck in a certain state of being, or we keep encountering the same struggles and we're not moving forward, we're always moving forward. The universe is always making a way for us, even if we're dealing with something, again, Five of Pentacles, very, making us feel very downtrodden, very depressed, or very sad, or very anxious, very worried, very feeling low energy. You just have to know and have that trust, that faith, and feel strong, have that inner resilience, that inner resolve, pull that out of yourself and understand that the universe always has your back. And again, they're always making a way for you. Again, the message here is that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. As it may feel very mysterious and even confusing to you, you have to know that there's a lot in the works, kind of behind the curtain. You're only seeing what's presented to you on the stage, which may be nothing right now. Maybe things are dark, maybe it's intermission, or maybe the venue's closed, who knows? But the thing you need to understand is there's a lot of production planning. There's a lot of things happening behind the curtain, behind the scenes, that you're not yet privy to seeing or being aware of, and it's all about to materialize for you. I don't normally do clarifiers when it comes to these mini pick-a cards, but I think it's important for you to have a little bit of further detail on what exactly it is that's coming in for you. What is coming in for Pile 2 with this mystery card? Can we give them a little bit of optimism on what's coming? So we have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And we have the Page of Cups. This is beautiful energy. We have the Fool also at the bottom. This is wonderful. So pile 2, first of all, a new beginning is ahead for you, and it's divinely guided with this Wheel of Fortune energy, which is the energy of, first of all, cycles. Energy is cyclic and ever evolving, ever changing. Wheel of Fortune can be, positive change. It can be contrast, which is more of a less desirable or pleasant experience. But either way, things are turning. And I'm seeing with all of this optimistic energy surrounding in these other cards that it is going to be a good divine shift. The wheel is turning. Your luck is about to change. You're about to have this new beginning presented to you. And it looks like there's going to be some type of offer or something coming in for you to make you feel on top of the world, honestly. You were feeling a strong sense of lack. Again, in the beginning, I said you could have possibly dealt with a job loss, maybe a rejection of a relationship, a loss of a person. This is showing me that there's going to be an opportunity for you to kind of regain some of your stability, real world material stability, being Pentacles energy, but also with the energy of the Six of Pentacles specifically. That's about reciprocity. That's about energy exchange. That's about offers. That's about things turning around for you, especially as it pertains to worth. And so I think if nothing else, as a result of this, momentous energy that occurs with the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool presenting, which is like a huge new opportunity, very advantageous, very fortuitous time ahead for you, pile 2. The Page of Teacups or Page of Cups could be an offer, as can the Six of Pentacles. So whatever happens now, I think that this is the main energy to focus on, this divine shifting, this potential for a new beginning, a new start. These kind of feel like byproducts to that, perhaps separate events that are going to occur simultaneously as a result of this energetic shift. Because again, when the energy shifts, that's what really controls everything. So if the energy turns, if the wheel shifts, if we have this divine intervention that moves us and propels us forward, that allows and frees up energetic space for other things to enter. A job offer, a new relationship, a resurgence of something, maybe just more support, again, a renewed sense of optimism and faith following a turbulent or, upsetting time in your life. But either way, pile 2, what you have to look forward to is something really exciting, really, really big. But it all looks good for me as far as I can tell. I think you should be really excited, really eager, and just, again, continue to have that strength and that faith. The universe is calling on you right now to kind of just hang on there just a little more, because again, all of this is ahead for you. It looks a little bit dark, murky, cloudy. You're confused, you're unsure, but I'm telling you, it's on the way, and it's going to be great. So pile 2, I so hope you've enjoyed this reading today, this mini pick a card and message courtesy of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot. If you have enjoyed either this deck review or this mini pick a card, I invite you to go ahead and take a look at my full playlist of content. I have full pick a card readings, obviously. These videos that I've done here where I just do the mini pick a card at the end of a deck review. I also do full on videos with a pick a card on all sorts of topics. So related to love energy, spirit messages, healing, high vibrational living, really, really good stuff. Even zodiac based readings. Of course, more deck reviews as I get those coming in. So if you've enjoyed this content today, I would so be sincerely appreciative of your continued engagement with my channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't and you've just stumbled across across my page, across my space, because it's important for any new creator to have that engagement. It helps to build up the channel. It increases sort of systematically how you are presented on the channel, on the platform, in order for others to, in the collective, to be able to see your work. And as I stated in the intro, this is a hobby right now. I hope for it to be more mainstream in the future. You can help to do that. It's free. Just, again, like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend who might want this message as well. I love to make new friends. I love having everybody here who chooses to share space with me. It's such an honor. Hopefully I will see you again in the future, pile 2. Also, please do not forget, although I'm not being compensated for this review in any way, these are my sincere impressions. This deck is up for pre-order right now. It is going to be releasing on April 26th through Amazon and other merchants. So if you are interested, I have put an affiliate link down below. If you are already planning to purchase the deck, it is of no additional cost to you. It's a free way to go ahead and support my channel. If you're planning to make that purchase anyway, it's just a quick, easy link for ordering, and it does so much for my channel to bring me more, allow me to bring more content and to bring me just more love and more sets of eyes on the content that I hope to share with everyone. So it means a lot to have you here. Hopefully I will see you again. And until next time, Pile 2, take care. Bye-bye. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your mini pick a card courtesy of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot. You chose today the beautiful rose quartz. And let's go ahead and take a look at what your message is from this wonderful deck today. First, we have the Three of Pentacles, or Three of Hedgehogs. We have the World, and we have the Seven of Pentacles, or Hedgehogs. Let's see. All of the piles seem to have been different today. You're waiting on something, definitely. A lot of this Pentacles energy being Earth, obviously, is very slow moving. It's very stable and steady, but it's also very slow and progressive, and it definitely isn't generating quick results for you. There's something that's closing out for you in a big way in your life. It doesn't feel to be anything that's too disastrous or uncomfortable. There may be a slight bittersweet energy associated with it. I'm definitely picking up a slight tinge of sadness, but mostly just eagerness and happiness and fun at the prospect of something closing out, a major cycle or phase, chapter of your life that's ending. And there just being all of this huge potential based upon the platform, the energy of this completion kind of presenting for you to step into something new. But you're waiting right now. You're kind of in a limbo state where nothing's fully materializing and coming together. This relates a little bit back to pile 2. So that was the caramel crystal. If you resonate with this reading, I would suggest just watching that one as well, because the energies are similar, of kind of being in a state of limbo, being in an unknown phase of life. That was a little bit more of a beaten down energy for pile 2. Feels like you're a little bit more optimistic and positive and in a good place. But again, this idea of just being at a standstill or waiting, it's the waiting game of seeing how something is going to materialize and come together. I do feel like whatever it is you've been planning and putting forth effort into for quite some time, you've really truly have been, well, I guess the word would be you've been attempting to collaborate. You've been, trying to invest or create, collaborate, get something together, bring a project to fruition. Perhaps, you're making a job change, but whatever the case may be, whatever this is that you're taking on, it's not moving and progressing quickly. At the same time, though, look at how Alice is presenting in this World card. Her and Dinah are both sleeping. They're both content. If you recall in the movie, she's actually dreaming of really horrible things because she's in Wonderland, and at the very end, it's like the queen is chasing her. All the cards, are chasing her, and she's just not having a good time. Clearly, there's a lot of chaos happening after she's already had this, interesting experience in Wonderland. But here we see her just before she wakes up and realizes it was all a dream. Everything is okay. It's content. It's peaceful. And I'm happy and secure, and everything is going to turn out great. So there could be, while I feel overall that you're in a stable energy, there could be some element of having either nightmares or having anxious thoughts, very self-limiting beliefs that kind of creep in at times. You seem to have them well under control. Again, that's where it differs from pile 2. But in any rate, aside from those, occasional thoughts that kind of are a bit intrusive and steal your peace and joy, I think overall you're just kind of in this waiting game of where you're in this waiting game of realizing, that there's something big on the horizon. You sort of feel it. You don't know what it is. You don't know when it's coming. But again, you're content. You're at peace. You're open to waiting and open in receiving mode to have whatever the universe is going to bring forward present to you in divine time. So what I have to say there is, I do think that there is going to be something big that comes through for you. I do think you're very, very much at the end of that cycle where that's about to present, but it does feel like there's a little bit more waiting for you. I would say within a month or two. To that point, I think whatever it is going to spark your joy even more. It's going to ignite kind of the creative passions that you have where you're feeling maybe a little lackluster right now, or again, just a little bit like hibernation. There's a sense of stillness, of quiet, of not taking a lot of action. Again, this is depicting characters sleeping. So you could very much be in a very restful, sort of peaceful state, but that's about to change. I think you're ready for that and you're kind of feeling the stirrings of that. You've been comfortable for a long time, and now it's time for there to be, you know, I guess another shift for more of your investment to kind of turn around and help you expand. There's a big sense of expansion coming, and it's going to involve, I think, either work or, you know, career, finances, some form of collaboration perhaps, but whatever it is, it's definitely going to be something exciting, fun. It's going to, again, ignite and enliven that passionate inspiration, that drive, that motivation that you're feeling to propel yourself forward. And I think that it's going to be coming soon, just not as soon as you'd like, perhaps. You know, I think that you are mostly being patient and content, but just know it's going to just take a little bit more time. That investment is coming, though. It's due on receipt. You know, it's coming. It's just going to take a little bit, but whatever it is, it just feels to be something that's really going to speak to your soul. And when it does hit, and I don't know why I'm using that word, but when it does hit, when it does come through and you realize what this is, you're going to be all in. There's going to be no hesitation. You're going to go from this sleepy Alice to waking up and realizing, oh my gosh, you know, whatever I was worried about was just a dream, or it was just in my head. You know, really everything is fine. I've been thinking it was fine, but, you know, doubting that slightly. Everything has been fine, even though it's taken a long time. It's taken some, you know, considerable effort, and then waiting and patience. Now it's here. I'm so ready for this. I've been waiting for it, but patiently just eager, content as I wait. But now I'm ready to propel myself and move forward, and I'm presented with this beautiful opportunity, and I'm ready to take it. So pile 3, I so hope you've enjoyed this message, this mini pick a card reading courtesy of the Disney Alice in Wonderland Tarot deck today. If you have enjoyed this either mini pick a card or the deck review, I have lots of videos, playlists that feature both of these styles of content, either other deck reviews for decks I currently use on the channel, obviously I own and work with frequently. You can feel free to view those. Otherwise, I have full pick a card readings as well. So just like I did here today, only a full video featuring just pick a card style readings. They're all going to be based on love energy, healing, high vibrational living, you know, wonderful concepts related to even spirit messages coming through, zodiac readings. So really, really good content that I want to share with everyone as much as I can. As I stated in my intro, right now this is a hobby channel. I would love to make it more mainstream and you know, reach the broader collective if I can. That's my goal. And you can help to do that in a very simple and easy way. Totally free. Go ahead, subscribe first and foremost. If you've made your way to this space and you are not yet a subscriber, I invite you to do so. Click the notification bell as well. It lets you know every time I post. In addition, you know, go ahead and share with a friend. I love making new friends. Anyone that chooses to come share space with me, it is a great honor. I appreciate you so much, all of your support. Engage with me as well. Comment, tell me whatever you'd like to tell me in the available spaces, so that I know that you're loving what I'm doing, or ways that you would like me to do things differently. Perhaps I'm open to feedback, or if you would just like to see other different things, let me know that too. Yeah, so in the future, I hope to see you again, pile 3. Also know too, keep in mind, this deck right here is on pre-order. So even though I haven't been compensated in any way, shape, or form for this particular video, I do have an affiliate relationship with Amazon, and I have an affiliate link below, pinned in the comment, if you would like to use it and are planning to order the deck anyway. I believe they are shipping out on April 26th. So if you were planning to purchase the deck anyway, using my link is a free way for you to do that. You know, you're making your purchase regardless, and it's just by using my link, I get a small bit of commission for everyone who chooses to take advantage of that ease in ordering that I've provided for you. And hopefully, again, pile 3, I see you for a future video. Until next time, I hope you take great care. Bye-bye.